Hello. Today I just really wanted to go over going back a little bit more into my childhood, I would say. I think I just wanted to say that my experience with bedwetting as a child and bedwetting as an adult really hasn't changed much. And I think being a child bedwetting is still horrendous. I really don't know about when a child is supposed to be, their bladder is supposed to be fully developed, but I think it's still horrendous no matter what. So when I was a kid wetting the bed many years ago, I didn't have a lot of friends who still did, and if they did, they would have outgrown it at a certain point in their life. I didn't go to school for very long. I was homeschooled for quite a bit of time. I think I went to school for like junior kindergarten and kindergarten in grade 1, but after that, as soon as I hit grade 2, I was pulled out of school and my brothers and I were homeschooled. The point is that I did have friends. Like, I went to church and I had a lot of our church groups had homeschooling groups as well, which was really, really awesome. So I made a lot of friends. We went out to homeschooling group functions every Friday, and so I think when I was younger, it was like very much not a big deal. I don't know. For a while, it was just, okay, well, it was just normal. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It just was normal. And we would just wash my clothing in my bed every morning. I did use the good nights for a while when I was younger, and that wasn't a big deal. I don't remember it being, it was just expensive, and I just felt really bad for my mom to always have to go out and buy them, and it just made me feel kind of sad. And then when she and I would clean my laundry or something every morning, it also just made me feel kind of uncomfortable and sad, because it just felt like it was wasting so much resources, like water and soap and all that sort of stuff. It just, to me, I think I was just very money conscious, obviously, but so my whole upbringing was just washing my sheets and feeling sad about it. But it didn't really, I don't think it necessarily affected me socially, for the most part. When it came to going over to friends' houses for sleepovers and stuff, I would just bring my good nights and I wouldn't really tell anyone. Long story short, bedwetting as a child still sucks, and wetting your bed as an adult still sucks. I think it's just a bit more accepted nowadays to see your young children wet the bed for a period of time, and it's not considered anything but normal until they hit a certain age. And I don't even know when the certain age is. I think when you're like 15, it can still be accepted as normal if it's like every now and then. But now that I'm past 18 and all that sort of stuff, I'm considered an adult in society standards. But yeah, you wet the bed when you're a kid, and a lot of people didn't really look past that as anything but normal, or your fault sometimes. It depends on who you're talking to. I know for a long time ago, they considered it as an act of revenge or something on their parents, or like kind of like a disobedient behavior on the child's part that they would wet the bed. Or people would think that their children are just drinking way too much water before bed or something like that, and that children do not have a developed bladder. That's why the bedwetting and the babies and all that kind of stuff, they haven't developed everything, right? Even your brain isn't fully developed and think until you're 25. Like, I'm 24, so I'm still a child in some standards. So, yeah, so you gotta wait till you're fully developed to kind of make, that's why doctors wait so long, is because they don't know whether or not to put the child on medication. They don't know if it's the right choice yet because the child isn't fully developed. You don't want to ruin the child's development. So yeah, totally, I understand and agree with that. I never have had a problem with like the medication aspects. I thought that was, I think I'm very logical. And that's why growing up, like, I was like, yes, we need to buy diapers. Yes, I need to wash my sheets. Yes, I need to be careful when I drink and what to drink. And that was just very normal for me and logical for me. But it didn't solve the fact that I still wet the bed. It didn't make it any better. It just made it a little bit more bearable and a little bit less stressful all the time because I didn't feel like I was worrying about it too much. I just knew that that was my life, and I would one day grow out of it. And then when I didn't grow out of it, I started getting really upset and really worried all the time and very self-conscious. And I think that's where I am today. But for my mom, so going back to when I was a kid, for my mom, a lot of the time, like I said a little bit earlier, I was a little bit more, I just felt bad. I felt bad. She would sometimes get frustrated with me, and we wouldn't really know what to do with it. Like, it was this frustration that had nowhere to go, because it wasn't my fault. It wasn't her fault. And it wasn't leaving anytime soon by the looks of it. I had been trying different medications, and I tried a nasal spray at some point. I tried, which I think was DDAVP or desmopressin or whatever. And I had tried that throughout my life many times. Like, that seemed to be the go-to. So I tried different medications, and I had, my first urologist, that's a story. He made me so mad. I don't know who he was, and it was when I was 8 or 9, probably 10. Actually, now I think it was 10. And he made me feel like such crap, because at the time when I was 10 years old and stuff, a lot of 10-year-olds were boys who were wetting the bed. Typically boys still wet the bed at this age, and I don't have any girl stuff right now. So the point was that he was going to give me a chart and some stickers to kind of like do a thing with every morning or whatever, to see if I wet the bed, put a sticker on it and stuff like that. I probably still have it somewhere, because I hated it so much that I didn't use it, but I was just like, this is stupid. And anyways, he basically was like, well, boys still wet the bed, and I only have boy stuff left, so you're gonna have to take the boy stuff. I unfortunately don't have any girl stuff right now. And I was like, okay, why did you have to make a big deal about it? I don't care if it's a boy stuff, but why did you make me feel like I'm the only girl wetting the bed? So he really got on my nerves. I didn't want to do the thing, because I didn't want to do it the way he wanted me to do it. And then, like, the gender role thing was just a little bit too much for me at the time. And he was just like, to my mom, he was like, she'll probably grow out of it. Like, it's not, I don't think it's a big deal right now. And, like, he made me so mad. It didn't work, and I was still using diapers, and he got, like, I think he was just kind of done with me when we checked up with him. We didn't see him again. And then it was just kind of like, well, we're stuck here now, so we'll just have to do with what we've got and the knowledge we have. So then my mom and I were just sort of frustrated. We didn't have very many moments where she would just kind of get angry with me. It was just kind of like, she would just be like, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what we're doing, but I really, really hope that we can, like, this will go away soon. Like, it was just pure frustration. We were both there. She couldn't really get mad at me because it wasn't my fault, like I said earlier, but it just was a lot of intense emotions on both of our parts. So that was how we dealt with it. So yeah, we just basically would use Depends or Good Nights. And then when I got older, I sort of just had to take care of washing it myself. And I didn't wear diapers for a really long time. I started wearing diapers, adult diapers, about 2 years ago or so, 2-3 years ago. I know it wasn't very long ago, but it, like I said, when you get used to something so quickly, it becomes a habit and a pattern, and I didn't think about changing it because it was just something I did. So when it comes to children wetting the bed, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't think you should be too worried about it. Treating it is different. Is it something all doctors are going to do? They're going to take it through the step process and see where, because that's how my doctors described it to me when I started going to my family doctor regularly for this problem. She'd be like, well, we got to start somewhere, so you can't just jump to like the end and be like, okay, well, you never know. Like, you never know what's going to help and what's going to not help. So unfortunately for me, I had to go through every single step a couple times sometimes just to see what would help and what would not help. Like, sometimes it's funny when I think about it. So at one point I'd said I had gone for Botox injections in my bladder wall. So they started, there's two forms of injections that they're doing in Canada, at least. They'll do 100 cc's or 200 cc's. And at the moment I have 200 cc's in my bladder. I'm sure it's probably worn away at some point, but the point is that I had to go twice. So we did 100 cc's both times. The first time it was just in like the regular day surgery room, and the doctor, the lady who was actually my nurse who was supposed to be freezing my bladder wall with a catheter, she didn't freeze it very long. And I guess when my doctor went in to do the procedure, I was in a lot of pain, which was really frustrating because it was like, it was just like it was a needle going into my bladder wall, and it wasn't frozen. It wasn't under local anesthesia, and it was just like, ow! Like it was a lot. It was very like, it was a lot of pain. So I had to go back again because he felt like he didn't do it properly because, well, I was in pain, and it was just kind of like we had 20 needles, 20 injection sites around my bladder wall to do. And so what happened the next time was like a couple months later, I think it was in July of last year. I went to the hospital to do like under general anesthesia, and then I was just in a bad mood that day. I felt like what we were doing was wasting our time, and I even vocalized that. I said, no, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it. I'm warning you, I'm just not feeling all that great about it. So it's like, you can't just jump from one step to the end. Like, Botox was the second last procedure I've had, as opposed to my surgery. So, like, I've been through a slew of different medications, and some of them being gels and some of them being pills and just different things. And I feel like at some point I'm probably going to have to do some of those things over again, depending on how well this next surgery goes. All I know is what I've been through, and when it comes to adult bedwetting, I feel like I know a bit, or enough, but I don't know enough about children wetting the bed. So hopefully you can glean whatever you can from this video. I don't really know what to sort of say about the rest of my childhood experience wetting the bed and what my mom went through and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was probably really tough for her, and I know it still is. Like, her and I are so close, and like, she's one of my best friends, and well, she's my best friend, and she's been so supportive, and everything she does is amazing. Like, she's my favorite person in the world, and if I wouldn't be doing this as well, I wouldn't be dealing with it as well if it wasn't for her. So, hi Mom, I love you. And yeah, she's the best. And something else I kind of wanted to touch on was, for parents going through this with their children, or young adult children, it's hard, and it's not their fault, and never point it on them as it's their fault. It's extremely difficult and embarrassing to even go through. There's so many things that I've been through with my bladder leaking, and like different stories I haven't ever told anyone before. And even my closest friends and my mom and everyone, they don't know half the stuff close to half the stuff I've been through in a day-to-day life. So give your child a break. It's never gonna be fun. It's never gonna be easy. But it's just still a diagnosis that you're gonna have to take seriously. Like, whether it be overactive bladder, sleep enuresis, nocturnal enuresis, whatever, it's still a thing we're learning about together. Like, and doctors are doing their best to take care of it. It's just not something that's very well publicized. So hopefully one day it will be. And it takes time for everything. Like, we can't be perfect right away. And I think that's a lesson I've learned the hard way. And it's just, for your kids, reward them, I think, when they do something, when they don't wet the bed. And then when they do wet the bed, comfort them and make them feel supported, because I think that'll go a long way. It's just, yeah, so give them a break, reward them when they do something good. I wouldn't try and use food as a reward, like going for ice cream or something, because that can start different habits, and I don't want to go there right now. But anyways, the point is, don't lose faith in them, and don't lose hope in them, and then they hopefully won't either in themselves. And yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Really like this. I really appreciate the support I'm getting from everyone in these videos. So far, it's just been great to know that I'm connecting with different people all across the world, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. So yeah, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.